If I was to take over your business, this is the first thing I would change. That's this week on Think Tank Tuesday. Before we get into this week's Think Tank Tuesday, I want to talk about strategies. I want to talk specifically about coffee mug strategies. So the team here at Potratz decided, you know what, we need something fun and exciting. So what we're going to do is we're going to send out a coffee mug and some other items to the individuals that make comments on our video. But it can't just be any comment. It's got to be a great comment, a comment that will help others. And then we're going to go through, we're going to read those comments, and whoever, or there could be multiple people that make great comments, we're going to enroll you into the coffee mug strategies. So start making comments and then watch for the mailman to start delivering your coffee mug strategies with a cool looking coffee mug and some other items. So now let's get into this week's Think Tank Tuesday. Hi, I'm Paul Potratz and welcome to this week's Think Tank Tuesday. So the statement I made, if I was to take over your business, what is the first thing I would change? And that's your marketing and sales process where you talk about price. I mean, if you know me, if you've watched my videos, you know my pet peeve is about talking about price. You've got to stop talking about price. In fact, I was talking to a dealer last week and he said, no, Paul, you don't understand. You're not selling cars every day. I'm one Ford dealer of 15 others. So that's what separates me. And I'm like, but if you live by price, you die by price. I mean, we've got a number of dealers that's been in that price war, and then they came to work with us, and we said, we got to stop talking about price, guys, because you've only got one way to go. You can only move in one direction when you talk about price, and that's down. So now you're advertising, hey, here's the new Ford F-150 for $299 a month, and then the next dealer does $279 a month, and you're like, oh, $259 a month, and so you continue to go down. So think about the psychology of what's happening. Not only what it's doing to you, where it's keeping you awake at night, but it's messing with your manager's minds. It's messing with your salespeople's minds because they see that TV commercial where you're advertising $299 and the next dealer comes out and he's doing $279 and they're like, oh my gosh, our ads suck. We suck. Oh man, traffic's down, and everything's being pointed to the reason that you're advertising price. So you're being reactive to that price discussion. Anyway, back to the dealer. He said, I've got 15 other dealers I'm competing with, and more or less, I'm a franchise dealer. I'm selling the Ford product, as is all of these other guys, and that's the only thing I have to separate me is price. And I'm like, no, it's not. And I said, if that's the case, let's talk about, I mean, again, you've heard me talk about this on videos. Let's talk about department stores. Have you ever been to Nordstrom? Nordstrom has the same products as does Macy's, as does Dillard's, and even in some case, well, Target. I mean, really? But Nordstrom gets more money for their products than a Macy's or a Dillard's does. How do they do it? It's because they have a completely different perspective. They've trained their salespeople differently. Their salespeople, in fact, are not even salespeople. They're consultants. So are you training your salespeople to be consultants, or are you just, hey, you know what, this person's well-spoken, they talk well, they don't really have any sales experience, let's hire them and let's throw them into the pit and hope they do well. Well, that's the way most businesses are. That's what they do. They bring a person in, they have no experience, and now what the salesperson does is the salesperson goes to another salesperson and tries to more or less copy their behavior. So it creates this like mass turmoil in your business. Again, if you're selling by price, you're dying by price. And there's many of companies. If you sit back and you think about it, think about the companies that are selling the same product as other companies, but if you go to the one company, you're going to spend more. But the experience is completely different. Again, it's in your presentation, it's in your unique selling proposition, it's in how you position your business. I mean, it's really a simple process, but it's a very scary opportunity to say, you know what, we're going to go to a one price, or we're going to quit talking about price. Now, let me clarify this. I want to clarify this. I'm not saying you pull the prices off of your website because the prices need to be on your website. I'm talking about in your mass media, your mass advertising. Quit talking about price. Get your salespeople trained so now they become consultants and they're not talking about price. So let's just talk for a moment about a shopper and what brings a shopper into the cycle. In other words, the shopping cycle. is if you were to look at a funnel, in fact, we're going to put a funnel on the screen right now. Take a look at the funnel. Now, if you were to look at the funnel, do you see price at the top of the funnel, or even in the second or third or fourth or fifth position? It's not. All right. So now that you've seen the funnel, I hope it makes sense to you. Your advertising, your marketing, and your sales strategy should match that funnel. In other words, when you get a prospect, a lead on the phone, it shouldn't be about price. It should be, and I mean, you know this stuff. I mean, I'm not talking brain surgery here. You know this stuff, but the problem is you're scared to make the transition. You're scared to make the change, or I'm going to say it, and I hope I don't, well, you know what? If I do offend you, big deal. Are you too lazy to change it? Is that what it's all about, is laziness? Because again, we've met those salespeople. They automatically go for the price, boom, because they're lazy. They're not wanting to find out about that individual, what's motivating that individual, what's important to that individual. And if you're selling by price, I'm going to say it again, you're dying by price. And it creates this chain reaction of all of these events. You sell by price, you have to keep going down. And then your other competitors go down, go down, go down. And then here's the question, are your pockets as deep as the other competitors? Maybe the other competitors is a group of dealerships that's publicly owned, and they can keep on going down and going down and going down to the point you can't go down any farther, and then they come knocking on your door and they go, hey, I see your market share is non-existent. Do you want to sell? So if you're not ready to sell, if you're not ready to get out of business, you've got to change your strategy, and you've got to become a group of consultants. Again, that's what the shoppers want. Only a third of the shoppers are driven, in other words, by price, meaning that they start their whole shopping process based on price, and they'll drive clear across town to save $200. But the vast majority of people, they're coming to purchase a product because they want that experience, and you can create that experience. Again, I mentioned that chain reaction. You advertise price, you have to continue to go down. If you continue to go down, your salespeople, your sales managers will continue to make less and less and less money, as you will too. So now what's that doing to your team? Are you getting the best managers? Are you getting the best salespeople? Probably not, because they're not making any money. So you can start to see how it really affects. Now, if you're selling by price and your website is completely made up by only thing that's on it is really here's the vehicle, or here's the product, here's the service, and here's the price, and that's it, and there's no way for anybody to do research, then what are you doing? Well, you're basically doing a glorified newspaper ad that's called a website. I hope this helps you guys, but start being a consultant and stop being a price whore. And I'll see you next week.